Princess Margaret and Peter Townsend broke up in the last season, but she's going to fall in love again with a new man. How will Margaret live that?
Well, I think it's very hard for her to try and begin to recover from the pain of not being able to marry the person that she envisaged her life with. And she tries to get engaged to somebody else that's very aristocratic and someone from her world, and she gives is almost like a last attempt to fit in and to be completely royal, as opposed to rebelling against it. And that backfires so badly that she ends up in such a bad way that then she sort of like has this sudden meeting of forces between her and this mysterious man, and he is the first person in her life that I think has made her feel out of water or unnerved, and that's incredibly exciting for her. And so, she begins with him.
Elizabeth and Margaret are very different to each other, and we've watched how they argued many times. How will be their relationship in this season?
Yeah, I think that the sibling resentment and the rivalry and the tension, really, where we leave them in season 1. I mean, it can only get worse, I think. And because there isn't really an attempt to talk it through, and I think that's a very royal family-esque from Peter's perception anyway, that they don't talk about their feelings, and they don't really, and Margaret's constantly trying to do that, but they tend to brush it under the carpet and just not say anything. And so because they haven't ever just sat it out and talked it through, I think that those bubbling resentments are there, and it gets harder, really. And I think that when she meets Tony represents the sort of antithesis to the royal family, and so there's always going to be that conflict between them.
Do you think the show has helped to change the meaning or the idea of monarchy in young people?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it has for me and my friends, definitely. I think the reason it has is because they seem like a very sort of old establishment, a historic establishment, which they are, and suddenly to remember the young girl the Queen was when she was 25 and taking over in a job that she never asked for or wanted. And Margaret, who was sort of forgotten and hasn't been around now for a while, and died a sort of tragic figure from what the public perception was. That I hope it's made us sort of understand them better, or at least empathise with the human beings that happen to be going through it.
The cast will change in season 3, but we don't know who will perform your role. Who actress do you like to do it?
I can't, you know what, I truthfully haven't thought about it, because if I did, it would be strange, whoever it was, if it wasn't that person, do you know what I mean? So I can't, and no one will tell me their ideas, because they know that I'll tell everyone. So I don't know yet, I truthfully don't know. Whoever it is going to have the best time.
We've watched British Crown in many TV series and films, but why is it special, The Crown?
I think because there's no one better in the world than Peter to write about the British royal family, number one. I also think that what he does so well is really, his imagination is so brilliant that he takes the facts and he really tries to realise the situations and the conversations that led to each of those events happening. So I think he's managed to make them really human and flawed, and that really highlight the struggles of a life like that instead of glorifying them or criticising them. I think he just treads a sort of objective perception really of them and allows them to just be, and then we can take it from it what we want to instead of having it either way.
And finally, do you think the royal family liked The Crown?
I don't know. I just think it'd be weird no matter what, because you go, well, that was my honeymoon, but I didn't do any of that stuff. Or I definitely didn't say that. Yeah, I could just imagine it. Yeah, I have no idea. I hope that they did, but I don't know. It'd just be a bizarre thing to watch your family and your grandma or whatever, you know? Like, oh, well, Where's Granny and Philip snogging? Anyway, yeah.